All right, let's get started then. My name is Aiden. I'm a junior at Camas High School in Washington, USA. I've been in Hack Club for a little bit less than a year. I think I joined last year, December. Anthony is a core team member of Vue and Vite and the creator of SlideDev, like one of my favorite projects. Vue use VTests and a myriad of other insanely cool projects. If you've ever used the Carbon Icons pack in VS Code, he's the one who made those. I had no idea until I went to see like the author in the VS Code extension. And I was like, wow, wait a minute, this is Anthony. So Anthony has been really personally a huge inspiration for me, especially his work in the web development space and developing out the ecosystem in the Vue and Vite space, like with Vue used and I think Vue Demi. Having Anthony here is a huge honor, and I hope you all have a lot of questions for Anthony. And it's just really awesome to have you here. Anthony, would you like to expand a little bit more about your journey in open source thus far?
First, glad to be here, and thanks for the invitation and introduction. So as you know, I'm mostly working on open source for the Vue and the Vite ecosystem, and for me, that's basically the motivator of that is I'm using the so maybe I'm building some app using Vue, and during that time I might find that there are some improvements I can make, or there's something I want to make it better for my own opinion, and then maybe I share the tools to the community, and some of them kind of getting being people kind of like them, or some of them kind of fail, they don't actually get popular or something like that. But I'm kind of totally fine with that. I think that's kind of the way that I'm working for open source things. It's kind of like a try and error. So you kind of release an idea and you release out to test out if the idea really work or something. But if it doesn't, just doesn't need to be frustrated. Just throw out something new or iterate it over and make it better. Yeah. Do you want any more details about that? Want me to talk about?
I mean, I would personally love to just hear how you first got into web development and what your journey was like and why you're still in this space after so long.
Okay, sure. For me, I actually starting doing programming at my primary school at fourth or sixth grade. And then the things for me to get serious is from high school. In our high school, that we will have an exam for everybody to learn a little bit of the programming. At that time, we use Visual Basic, and the thing that get me into more involved with the programming is that I kind of have some basic knowledge of that, and at the time my classmates are kind of preparing for the text, and I kind of get a lot of questions I can help on or something. So that's made me feel that I don't know how to say that, but it feel I kind of really into that thing. So from there on, I kind starting investing more time in programming. So I first started with Flash, doing Flash work, the animation, the animator, and then I go Visual Basic, and then go C#.net. So that is mostly the path that I can see to having a great visual feedback that you can in Visual Basic you can drag on the button and then bind it to some sort of event and make the app running quick, kind of pretty easier. So that for me is kind of good feedback loop for me to learn things and get feedback of what I've done. So like that kind of pushed me forward to do some like more advanced experimental, I guess. So then I start web development is from my freshman year at college. So at the time, I'm kind of trying to build a portfolio, like a personal website for me. And then I start with, like Python as a backend, and then like jQuery as the front end. So like that, yeah, that indeed sounds, yeah, like when it get when it get complex, you know that there's a limitation of jQuery, that's your code being complex and hard to maintain. So like maybe at the second year of my college, I starting know Vue. At the time, like Vue is kind of trying to release 1.0 or something. So it kind of becomes popular in this community, and people are talking about that. So like I'm kind of think, yeah, maybe it's a time to like give my site a rewrite using Vue and trying to learn it. Like at the time, indeed, that I kind of think learning is not an easy path. Things like even though that Vue is kind of branding it to is like easy to learn thing. Like it is kind of more easier to learn than React or something, but it still like take me, I don't know, some time to learn it. It's not a like a present journey, but in the but then I kind getting more into it, and so during that time, kind working some like open source project, but to me, like it's more like I make a project or like make a game using front end or something. Then I release a code. So at that time, that your repo doesn't get like too much view, or like maybe I will have like 0 star for like many months. So so like from my from now, my point of view is that at that time it's not really like open source, it's just like public source. So like it's not I'm not making the project that will come to contribution, or like make the projects more friendly, that's being able to be used by other people. So but yeah, I also like being through that phase, that I have many projects that doesn't get like too much view. So then I kind, so I guess the real starting point for me to get involved with like more in open source, more specifically like open source tooling, things like most of my work is like some plugin or some tools to like improve the development experience better or something. So it's like from about 2 years ago. Okay, yeah, okay, yeah, and yeah, I think that maybe let's talk about like how I get involved with Vue, I guess. So at that time, I'm building an app using Vue, and at the time, like Vue 3 is kind of in RFC to the new composition API, which like is a big jump from the old API style. So at the time, like I kind of think, oh, that's really cool, and I want to try it out. So I made the library called Vue use, and then during developing it, the Vue 3 is still in, I guess, alpha. It's not yet beta, but like there's also a package like offering the composition API back to the Vue 2 app, which like kind of compatible layer. So so I kind of think that's a kind of good idea, like to make you use the new API inside of your Vue 2 app, and then like when Vue 3 is ready, you can like migrate it to like seamlessly. Like you already using the API, that you just change the package name or like change the version, and it should work. the main idea of the view use is like I want to make this as a transition process to like supporting both view 2 and 3. Like you can use it if you are still on view 2 and then like migrate to view 3. So then I figured out to release view demi, which kind of incompatible layer to being able to have a scene interface for view 2 and 3 as a package as a library author. So so for me to like get into the view team is that things like the view use is relying on the plugin for view 2, but the view 2 plugin is somehow like the maintainer is getting out of focus and the project is not maintaining. So I kind of relying on it, and there are some misalignments make my libraries hard to maintain, hard to being isomorphic for both versions. So then I can create an issue for in that repo. So saying that I'm volunteer to maintain these projects and showing what I have done to the community or this project, and then like even you the creator view kind of comment below like saying that yeah that's great. So he got me the invitations to the team. So that's kind of giving me a like giant push to contributing to more open source things. Like I don't know, like for me like Avenue is kind of an idol for me at that time. So yeah, so like that's I guess that's my story to the open source world. Yeah, sorry
That's
about
awesome.
a bit long.
No, it's fine. It's funny how you mentioned about jQuery, and then you went to Vue, and then you went back to kind of jQuery again with the Vue dash dollar.
Yeah, right.
Anyway, so I guess we'll go into the open Q&A now. I see you, Zane. Just by default, you should have your mic unmuted if you want to talk, just because we have a small group today.
Okay.
Yeah, and feel free to go ahead and ask questions.
Hey, Anthony.
Hey.
Can you give us some insights on what you're working at Next Labs?
Yep, like I kind joined the Next Lab from June, and then like getting more official from September. So before that, I just like graduated from my grad school, and then I thinking that things like I kind of enjoying my work on open source, and then my GitHub sponsorship kind of okay for supporting my daily costs. So like thinking, so I was thinking that yeah, maybe let's take a chance to working fully on open source, and maybe like doing more work to maybe find a way of living, I guess. Things like it's more like my dream job. So like I can working fully on what I'm kind of interested in, and yeah. So so I kind of having do the full-time open source for like maybe 4 or 5 months, and then the guy from Next Lab reached me out to saying that yeah, they kind of enjoy my work, and then they want to having me working on the Next. So so like for me, I used to use Next quite a lot back to the Vue 2, back to Vue 2, and yeah. So like things like I can't really enjoy Vue, the ecosystem, and also many tools I made kind of related to what Next Labs want, and they kind of also like integrate some of my tool into the Next 3. So yeah, I think that's a good chance for me to like get a proper job and also like still working on what I kind of passionate about.
So I have a quick question. I see that like in your latest projects, you've been working on a project called Unplug It. Could you talk a little bit more about that, and maybe what do you envision the future for plugin, like build plugins in general?
So Vite plugin, so for unplugging is is a work for me at Next Lab. So like so in case you don't know, like Vue 3, Next 3 is like being able to use Vite or Webpack as an engine. Like you can choose it as you want for like maybe you got different preference. So that's a quite important thing, since like in Next 2 we kind of rely on Webpack solely. So like many of the build tools is doing that. So we kind of like the modules or like the plugins are kind of coupled with the Webpack ecosystem. So if you want to go Vite, and then we can say that maybe some of the loader is missing for Vite, and then you cannot use this feature, and your app will be broken, and that cause you cannot migrate to Vite to have the performance or like have the developer experience. So one thing that we in Nux we trying to do is that we're trying to make the transition for the community smoother. So also like internally, even in Nux 3, we need to do some custom plugin for the framework to work better. So if you want to supporting both Vite and Webpack, we need to write plugin. We need to maintain the logic for twice, and maybe there are some misalignment between them, and some you know that's a tricky thing to do. So we kind of think that maybe we can come up as an universal layer. So for us to write once for the plugin, since like for most of the features as a plugin, you need to you commonly want like having code transformation or like serving virtual modules or like doing custom loaders. So given that that feature set, we came up with the unplugging to do that. So indeed, that's unplugging kind only provide us a subset of like each plugin system, since like you cannot like making them all. But we also like providing an escape dash to having some like build to a specific logic. Like for example, like you can have a flag to check if current mode is in Webpack, and then you do some Webpack trick that cannot be unified into the unplugging. So yeah, that's the thing. That's the story of the unplugging. And then like for me, that I kind of move my Vite plugins to unpluggings to also like being a dog footing of myself to test out if unplugging work, and also like bring my plugins back to the Vue CLI system or like for Webpack in general. Yeah.
Thank you.
I believe Claire wanted to ask something.
Oh, yeah, I wanted to ask a question. I'm not sure if this is the right question to ask, but I was wondering why you chose Vue and why you decided to stick with Vue.
Yeah, I guess. So I guess from the framework choosing, it's kind of still like opinion thing. Like some get more comfortable with the Vue syntax. Some might get more comfortable with the JXX. Yeah, I think that's a kind of personal preference. But for me to stick on Vue is one of the things. Of course, I like it, and also like this is the framework I start with. So like when I first like getting know with the web framework, I choose Vue, and yeah, also like I kind of enjoying the overall team and the community. Things like Vue is I kind of think it's a non-profit project, so we don't driven by any like corporations or like they want some have a business. Yeah. So like in our team, we kind of being very casual. Like we don't have like too specific work to do. Like events is more like, oh yeah, if you're interested, if you want to do it, just do it. It doesn't like, yeah, you know.
That's cool. Okay, that makes a lot of sense, and I think that's it's really great to know about you.
Yeah, I guess I can go next. I'm wondering what your thoughts on stuff like crypto and Web3 are. I know that.
Okay.
My bad. Yeah, I know that Vue's played a pretty big role in like the development of that ecosystem. Like React's kind of taking the lead on like the whole next generation Ethereum style stuff. So yeah, I'm just wondering what you know, your whole thoughts on like that side of development is.
Yeah, I don't. To be honest, I don't like get to like involved with this field. So yeah, I don't actually have something to talk about actually. So yeah, yeah. Sorry about that.
No worries.
Yeah.
Okay, I know I'm asking too many questions, but what development workflow do you use? Do you like? I know some people they are like hardline, like Emacs, like evil mode within keybinds, or some people just use like VS Code or the WebStorm. Like, what do you use? Like,
yeah.
Definitely not trying to copy.
Yeah, I just use VS Code like for most of the tech. Yeah, things like, you know, like I have quite a few VS Code extension for them. Yeah, I kind of think I used to use Atom, which is like which is the text editor, the first text editor building on web, I guess. So then we comes with VS Code, then like VS Code getting better. So we're gonna stick on VS Code. And yeah, I think the big benefit of that is that it's using the web technologies, and then in the extension you can use JavaScript, TypeScript, and also the interface is very flexible to having styles or something. Yeah, it's kind of overall the environment I'm more familiar with.
Yeah, and if you haven't checked out, Anthony has like a VTest theme on VS Code, and you can try it out. It's like probably the best theme ever used. It's so good.
Thank you.
I mean, if you're down, I would love to see the different kind of extensions that you use, because I'm always looking for really cool extensions that can improve the experience of using VS Code.
Okay. Do you want me to share my screen? Oh,
yeah, that would be awesome.
Leave that for later. Okay. Yeah. Wait me a second. Yeah, I don't think I have too many plugins enabled. Okay, can you see that?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, maybe that's C. I don't know what I installed. Okay. Yeah, I don't know what to talk about first.
Yeah. What are there any like projects you're working on right now, or anything that you've been like hacking on, or that we could like maybe hack along, or I don't know.
I don't really sure about like let me think about that.
Yeah, or anything you want to share. I think a lot of people want to like kind of see live hacker in action. I don't know. That's not something that's
I don't really sure I'm a hacker or not. Yeah, I don't think. Yeah, but like,
hacker as in, like,
what
just coding. We don't mean like
yeah, right.
as
yeah.
Sorry.
What do you want? Like, what's the topic you want for me to talk about? Like maybe front end, or maybe like styling or something. Seems like I'm also working on Windy CSS, which is another version of Tailwind. Yeah, if you know that.
Ooh,
so
that's cool.
That would be so sick.
Yeah, we'd love to learn about that. That's really cool.
Okay. Yeah. So, yeah, I think you can see that, right? Wait me a second. Okay. So so have you heard about that? This one?
Yeah, I've heard about it.
Yeah.
Especially Jitterbug.
So so I think this is kind of an idea that's using the Vite philosophy to having provide on-demand utility first, like or like we can say that on-demand tailwind CSS. So like the main problem of tailwind CSS is that it generates all the CSS you need. It generates all the CSS it thinks you need, like for m/1, m-1 and m-210, like you know that. So like combining with the variance is kind of huge. Like in developments, you will have like several megabytes of the CSS shipping into the browser, and in Vite it kind of becomes the bottleneck of the overall performance. Things like everything is getting really quick in Vite. So then we come up with an idea that we can only generate the CSS you use. So like for example, like if I type M1, so like you are only got the CSS that generates for M1, and then like maybe you know like 3.2, but then we can have like even more flexibility like EM. So like I can just append the unit to it, like the margin will be generated at 10 EM. So that's original like impossible in Tailwind, and also like this becomes really fast compared to the traditional Tailwind. And then like you know that Tailwind then later come with the JIT engine, which is actually like inspired by this project. So more so over the on-demand system, we also providing many like other features. So for example, like there's a variant group. If you have ever tried to use Tailwind, that you will have like many like common prefix of everything. So for example, like if you want to change the hover style to like two different style, like you need to write hover twice. Like you need to like do that hover, and then like this. So in Windy, like we kind of provide an variant group for that to improve the developer experience, and also like we kind of provide a shortcut, like you can combine it with multiple classes, and then like we can generate it in one step for you. Also, this is on demand. Only you use the button class. The button class will be generated. So yeah, I think basically that's it for this one. So yeah. So maybe let me show you the things I'm working on recently. So I'm trying to work on a new engine of that. So for this, I call it like the Uno CSS. So so for me, I guess that's this is like still working on progress, and it's still in a private repo. So yeah, in case you want to know it. So so this one is like I'm trying to solve some like my own problem of using Tailwind or Windy. Since like you actually like if you want something like you doesn't, it's not very clear that how you got it. So for example, like in some context we will have like the right to left context, or like most of the time we use like left to right, and in some contexts we need to like right to left. So the margin left one is accessible, right? Since like is setting to left, and indeed we like we kind of open a right to left mode, but it's still like not obvious risk. So in some cases that we will have a margin start or margin end, which like is more like flexible, I guess. Okay, like and it's more easier for maintainers to make the layout compatible with both. So for that, you don't know how to do that. you know, like if you want to do the, if you want to add these utilities to Tailwinds or like Windies, you don't know how. Like you can write a plugin, but that could be like really time consuming. So then I kind of think maybe that's take a few steps back to think what like what the atomic CSS could be like in the I guess in the best place. I don't know. So so this is kind of an experimental like I'm been working on this month, and then the main philosophy of it is that we kind want to maximum the flexibility. So you can know like in here that we can provide custom rule. Like if I provide M1, and then I can provide a margin of it, it will generate the CSS like that. It's kind of pretty straightforward. You can do the like one-to-one mapping. And then like if you want to do the custom, you change the and then the body to a function that then you can generate it on demand. So for example here that we match M dash and D for the digits, and then like we can divide the digit by 4 and depending with the units REM, and then we can generate things like this. That could be like pretty straightforward. So the framework does not have any like core utilities like Tailwind for you. Like it's come up with nothing. So if you want to have, you can like build you can build the utilities from scratch, like pretty straightforward. But also like you can use preset or like build like make your own preset and share with others. So with that we can do like for example like like yeah just like feel free to ask any questions if you want to. Yeah. I'm not very sure if this is I don't know the thing you want to you kind of interested in. So here's the playground. So for example here the homepage is in playgrounds, like you can edit. So like for example like if I want MS1 I can do that. Let me make it. Yeah, you can see that that class MS1. So here we have margin inline star, which is which would just work for the RTL. Or like yeah, you know, the different layouts based on what the user preferred. So we can do that by doing ms slash doing d class. Yeah, you know, this is basically the regex, and then we can do here. So for example here. Maybe I just change. Okay. Yeah, I think we have that. So like for maybe hacker lab, right? Hacker club, right? Sorry. So nice. I can change the class to hacker club 1, and maybe 100. It's like you can see that. So so the thing is that I'm trying to like push the limits of the atomic CSS to see what we can got. So like yeah, these are like pretty experimental thing. Maybe I will kind of release it in the following weeks, I guess.
That's so cool, especially how this is all based on regex. That's something I've never seen. Well, I don't think that's very common.
Yeah, like even like compared to the performance, we can make like 200 times faster than Tailwind JIT, which is the using the latest version, like 3.0, which like, yeah, for me that's actually like performance doesn't really matter, given the flexibility this could provide. But yeah, like things like we kind doing it from the scratch, we can like scratch the performance even further. So yeah, here's what we got. And also, yeah, just to hear that, for example, like things like the class itself is like truly on demand. We can have this, and this function is actually a JavaScript function. So like you can do a lot of the inside of it. So for example, like I can have like I for icon and carbon and car, and then you got a car, and text for Excel, you got it bigger, text red, and yeah, maybe I do pending. So yeah, you know, like you can get this one, and most importantly, like you can combine it with variants, like for example, hover, I, carbon, I don't know, maybe F, I don't know, and then you hover it, and then hover it, the icon will change. So that's the thing, is like it's in pure CSS. There's no JavaScript needed. As you can see, that the output generated CSS is in lining with the icons as a background image, and then like you can, of course, you can style it as you want. Yeah, so like this is providing by a preset of this Uno CSS, which initially it doesn't comes with anything, and then you can make your own rules, or like make your like own preset for it to provide it many more like functionalities. This one is icons, for example.
Oh,
Can you also give us a quick demo of Vite?
I'm sorry.
Can you give us a demo of Vite as well?
Vite for what? Sorry.
Just a demo of the Vite as a model bundler.
Okay. Yeah. Demo Vite, right?
Oh, actually, before that, I think Maggie asked a question in chat. Like it's more related to the Windows CSS. Want to answer that first?
Sorry, can you say that again?
Oh, there's a question in the chat, in the Zoom chat.
Oh, okay.
You want to answer that?
Let me
oh,
check.
I can read it out. It says, what will happen if we animated the value inside the config, or is the config evaluated only once? That's the question in the chat.
Inside of the config. What do you mean, like animate the value? Yeah, I'm not very sure if I got the questions, but this is the playgrounds, and the configure is evaluate as you type. But indeed, that's the configure here is that it will generate it's kind of generated for CSS, which like for each object it will becoming a CSS rule. But yeah, you know, like CSS is kind of static. But if you want animations, you can do that by adding transaction properties, and then like maybe opposite, maybe from 10, and then if you hover it, it will be changed to 100. Yeah, that you can do that as an animation. Yeah, I just remove the hover. Yeah, and you can see that. Right. So
that's
yeah,
very cool.
And this Wendy CSS is going to be rewritten with Uno CSS?
We can intend trying to make this engine first as an experimental, and maybe to see that if this idea really comes out to be good for people to use, and then if it went well, we are planning to using it as the next engine of telling of Windows CSS v4. So like we are trying to do a complete rewrite. So we will provide the preset of Windows CSS as you like you currently have. So like you can do the transaction, and then like while you still have the flexibility of all the Windows CSS could offer. So for example, the icons and something, and also like you can maybe rip off all the default preset of Windows CSS and then like providing your own. So for example, here that's as you can see, this is actually an attribute. So I can do that M6. So the margin will be set to 6. I will remove the transition here. So I can do like top 10, left 5, something like that. I don't need to use the class anymore. So like in telling, like you will see that if you trying to starting a really complex components, you are having like, I don't know, 10s or 20s of the class and inside of one line, and becomes really hard to read. So with this approach, we call it's attribute-fine. So like you can do that by having different properties for example, text, red, I don't know, yeah. So if I move the green, and it will be inherent from the parent class. So at that thing, we can like getting more flexibilities. Also, like as you can see, that I don't need to provide a value to it. I can just I don't know. I can think a good one, but yeah, maybe that's remove the M1, and then like at M10, like you can still do the M10. So this is actually in line with the element attribute, and you can see that the generated CSS would be like the measure of the attributes. So for the text red, and maybe it's 5XL, and I remove this. You can do that. We do the partial matching by providing if you can see like this one. This is this one, but with the Pharaoh code, it will becomes into a single symbol. Yeah. So like with this we can achieve things like those. Yeah. Oh yeah, by the way, like for now, like you are seeing a little bit like Taiwan says a syntax, but we also providing like more we're kind of trying to providing a super common subset of the popular atomic CSS solutions for like some of the framework does not requiring you to have the dash inside of the M10. Like you can remove it, while like Tailwind is forcing you to do that. And then like text, like you already see that. So for text red, we used to have text red 400, and then like we can have like if you remove the number, it will be default to 400, and then you can have type 5 for 500, type 6 to 600, something like that. It's like it's pretty flexible, while like you can have your own opinions on how the utilities you want. Yeah, this is providing by the preset.
That's really cool. I have a question. So like, why are you spending your time, I guess, developing dev tools and like for other developers as opposed to like, I guess, developing for like end users and consumers / people, I guess?
Well, like you can say that it's my interest. So for me, that's being able to work better or like work more efficiently. Is that something I kind of enjoying? Since like I can, for now, like for example, like if I have like 5 projects, so if I can manage it to like solve one problem, that's improve some certain problem of the efficiency of you doing that, you can multiply that by 5, right? So like you can use it in your O5 project and get the benefits inside of them. So yeah, so like I kind of enjoying more on this, since like this is sometimes some of the problem could be like challenging. So also like you have many like space for the design. So you can see that's how the API is designed, how the trade-off is made, and how introducing new features while being compatible with the existing one. So like we don't break anything. So this is like really kind of interesting topic for me.
That's cool. And so would you say that like most of your ideas just come from like problems that you run into, like when you're developing something and you're like, dang, I wish I had this, and then you're like, okay, new project.
Yeah,
and
right.
Then... Okay.
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
really cool.
Yeah, but you know, like sometimes you are going into the rabbit hole. So so like that's why I kind of having so many dead projects, you know. So for example, like I'm building this playgrounds, and during that I kind of face another problems, and I will go to doing that thing. So as a rundown, like you are kind of divert from the original goal of that. So like you build a lot of tool to maybe solve or maybe not solve the original problem. But yeah, I think so what's the problem that I kind of enjoying it? Yeah, that's the thing.
That's cool. I think I find myself doing that a lot too. Just like deriving away from the original goal and stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, Maggie. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, you go.
Maggie asked another question. Going back to Uno CSS, if multiple rules match the same class, will they both be applied, or the later defined rule?
Okay. So like for example, like I think the more classical one is that. Yeah, maybe I'll make it more. Okay, you can see that. So for example, like I will have like let's do a tailwind way. So for example, like I have a margin 10, right? So this is a little bit more general, since like it will apply for the 4 directions, top, down, left, right. But then if you do the top margin top 1, so this one should be come after with that general rule, since like it's more specific. But from the CSS point of view, they don't have a difference, since like they only have one class, right? So you will need to order the CSS in the right order. So in these rules, the later you define it will have higher priority. So like you have the control of the order of the generated CSS by like you can moving the rules up and down. Did I answer your question?
Yes.
Sorry, I cannot see the chat room.
No, Maggie said yes, so that's okay. And I believe Nalini actually has a question too.
Yeah. So can I? Yeah. So hi. So basically, I'm a beginner to all of this open source projects. So I'm just wondering, how do you go out and search for open source project that you can sort of contribute to? Because when you're contributing on GitHub has this really cool pins and all of that, which will enable you to like differentiate between the beginner ones and the expert ones. But how do you find the organizations that you find idle to like, contribute to? That's pretty much my question.
Okay, so like from my point of view as an open source maintainer, things like I got quite a few projects to maintain. So from my point of view, I can say that the overall open source world is kind lack of I don't know, lack of focus, or like there's not enough time or like energy like consuming on maintaining the open source project. So like for example, for me, that I can spend many hours for each day to maintaining my project, but things like I cannot cover all of them. So the contributions is kind of really, if you look closely, like there's many contributions you can do, like from smaller to the typo fix, larger than like small text. Like some of the maintainer would mark an issue as like poor help wanted, or like good first issue, or like for me that I would do like pull request welcome. So like you can search them for that, but I think for me that's the key things is that you want to do. You don't need to like for doing open source for open source. You don't need to like for the credit to it. So for me, that's I would contributing to other open source projects from time to time, but only when I use it. So I use it, and then I fix this bug, or like I think this could be better. So like I may like open an issue in their repo to like discuss with the maintainer about if they want this feature, or maybe we can come up with a better solution for that. And then maybe you if you got time, you can do the pull request yourself, and then you will get the credit of it. And most importantly, you got a motivator of that. So for me, I don't like searching for project to contribute. I kind of use a lot of I use a lot of project, use a lot of package, and then I contributing to what I use and benefit to myself.
Yeah, that helps. Thank you so much.
So just a time check. We have about like 5 minutes left. So just feel free to keep asking questions, but just be mindful of the time. I think David had a question earlier. He commented, "Sounds great. Can't wait for Uno CSS and Windy CSS v4. Will Windy CSS attribute fly mode support next 3 modules?" Here, I'll type it in the chat. It's better.
Yeah, it's already supported. Like we just at the time like Nux 3 released, the Windy CSS Nux modules come up with the Nux 3 compatibilities, I think in 1 or 2 days. So like for now, like you can use it. But yeah, that feature will under a flag, you need to turn it on manually.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No, you can go.
Just kind of like a future-oriented question about Vite. So Vite has a lot of potential. We've seen it like with Svelte Kit, being integrated in Svelte Kit. I think like Astro is now using Vite. I guess what's your current like vision over of Vite? Like how will it be used in terms of like, will it be just keep being integrated in, I don't know, like SSR frameworks or SSG frameworks, or does it have like a broader goal in general?
Well, like for me, I kind of think, yeah, I don't know, I kind of think that Vite will, I don't know, like taking over. I don't know, but like indeed that there are some specific thing that Vite does not trying to solve. Things like Vite is, I think it's still opinions on some aspect. So like Vite is only designed for the web development. It does not like covering the bundle things, or like targeting to other platforms like Webpack can do. Like for example, like you can use Webpack to build maybe an extensions, or like for VS Code extension. It doesn't need to focus on web. So like everything in Webpack is modular. So like for example, like for CSS loader, you need to install it. But like in Vite, like we handle the CSS natively. So indeed, like I think Webpack and Vite, indeed they will, things like they are trying to fix different needs. They will coexist for long whiles, while like Vite will becomes like I don't know, like more and more popular into the web development field, but not all.
Great. Just like one, I guess, last general question. Verite in the chat said, "Thanks for your time, Anthony. I wanted to quickly ask you if you are to start your open source journey again, what can you change?"
I don't know. What do you mean by that? So what can I change? Yeah, I would think you know, like it's kind of dilemma. So like for me, that's I kind of think maybe I don't need to create too many new projects. Things like for now, I kind of feel like myself hard to maintaining all of them. So like I kind of feel more pressures of releasing new projects. Things like if I release new project means like I need to write new docs and I have more code to maintain and something like I also like need to do some marketing thing. So but on the other hand, like if you don't do that, those experimental, you cannot come up with better ideas. So yeah, I don't think like I kind of regret anything on that. So I think maybe that's it. I kind of need to figure out a better way to working on open source to like balancing out my energies and the time on different projects, I guess.
Yeah, so I guess since we have like, okay, since it's kind of time, but this is like a tradition we ask a lot of people. And so every single time we have a name, we just ask like popcorn questions. I was wondering if like, or actually, do you have any like parting tips for hack livers to get into OS as we kind of reach the end, or like stuff that you found to be really interesting to share?
Sorry, can you say that again?
Oh, do you have any like specific, or I mean, general open source advice, or just like little tidbits of things that you've picked up over the years that you'd like to share?
Yeah, I think like maybe like keep motivate. So like for me, that big like the big motivation for me to continue open source is that I'm kind of really interested in it. I don't know, you know, like for me, it's sometimes like kind of playing games. Like I can like having a problem here, or like having a task here, and maybe it is hard to conquer. And then at the time I kind of solve it, it like feels like you are winning a like hard game or something like that. So indeed, like I wish like everybody to enjoying programming or like enjoying open source with like good motivations or like with interest, I guess.
I see. Cool. Thank you. That's actually really great motivation. Motivation. But yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you for coming.
Yeah.
It's a huge honor. Just like we have so many like fans of you at Hack Club. Unfortunately, they can't be here because probably sleeping right now. But but again, thank you so much. Like just having an hour with you, it's really an awesome experience, and really it's like a gift to us, really.
Thank you. Yeah, glad it helped. Yeah.